Happy Saturday. Today is Saturday, February 6th, week 5 of 2021. I'm Joe, and these are my adventures in adulting. We've had a great week. I hope you have too. Week started on Sunday. It was kind of a rainy day. I did a bunch of editing and organizing things here in my office. I'm really hoping to downsize a lot of what I have and just get rid of clutter. I have to admit that February is actually my most difficult month of the year. I'm really looking forward to green grass and warm sunshine. This time of year, I feel like I need a really hot sun lamp, some sound of beaches, and some salty, warm air just to help me wake up. I'm sure I'm not the only person out there that has these types of challenges. On Monday, I came across a video of David Hoffman's. Again, David Hoffman, filmmaker, is a guy I've been following on YouTube. His stuff is really interesting. He had a video that he had shot back in 1979 with a young man. I want to say he was 12, something like that. And he was working on an old Apple II. It might have been a 2E or 2C, I'm not sure. I remember having that type of computer in my school when I was in, say 5th grade or so. So that would have been about the same time period as that this video was shot. The kid was programming on the Apple and his dad was talking about how he doesn't understand a thing about what computers do. It brought back memories for me because I remember learning how to code in BASIC on the Apple IIe. It was back when, floppy disks were floppy and you didn't have an operating system on a computer. You had to load it all up from a disk. So it was a fun video to watch and a fun video to help me think about how the world has changed so much since the late 70s. I was doing a lot of thinking this week about how this vlog has been impacting me. I take notes all week long. I'd write down just notable things for each day. So it's kind of a little journal of the positive things of the day, for the most part. The impact that it's had on me is it's been like keeping a gratitude journal. I look back on it, before I sit down here to record, I sit here and I read through the whole week and I remember things that I've already forgotten, even though it's only been a few days. And it just allows me to reflect on what's going on in life that's encouraging, at least noteworthy to me personally. I like to have these diary entries here for future reference, but I also like to have them because I hope it encourages other people to be introspective in their lives. Sit down and spend some time thinking about the little things in life that are good, that we enjoy. To think about the stuff that we might just overlook as just part of life, but that we can look at it and smile a little bit. Today, Jill and I guess I'm skipping ahead in my video here, but Jill and I went out for a drive. We just were talking about life, and that's a blessing. Any person that you get to interact with is a blessing in your life. Sometimes a little challenging. But even challenges are a blessing because they help us to look at things and choose to grow. So yeah, I was thinking about that a lot this week. I listed off some benefits of what this has done for me. It stirs up in my heart compassion for people and their situations. It shows me that I have the choice of how I want to view the world. I could look at things, the more difficult, the more negative things that are going on in the world. And if I were to focus on those things, then that would change my outlook. And I don't want that. So by being intentional in this diary, I'm finding that I'm able to pull out inside of myself the person that I like, the person that I want to be. It's hard to explain. I have negative thoughts. I have times where I'm feeling whiny and mopey, and I could talk about that stuff more, but why? that's not the type of thing that I want to focus on. I don't want to ignore it. I don't want to just pretend like things don't bother me from time to time. Like in 2020, things bothered me a lot. So I don't want to ignore those things, but I do want to be intentional about focusing on blessings, no matter what is going on in my life, good, bad, ugly, or anywhere in between. There's always blessings. There's always good stuff. On Tuesday, I was talking with Zach about the stuff that he's learning in class. I'm having a lot of fun asking him, so what are you learning today? That's another benefit of doing this diary, is I'm more intentional about asking the kids what's going on in their lives. So Zach is learning about transmissions still. That particular day, they were working on replacing the kingpin in the transmission. I didn't have any idea there was a kingpin in a transmission, and I can't really say I know exactly what a kingpin is. I guess it's the pin that holds it all together, maybe? I would have to look that up. The only place I've heard of Kingpin before was in comic books. Isn't there a villain named Kingpin? And maybe there was a bowling movie called Kingpin? I don't know. Tuesday, of course, was Groundhog Day, so that always makes me think of the movie by Bill Murray. I love the part where he says, well, it's Groundhog Day again, because he's repeating Groundhog Day over and over again because he keeps seeing his shadow, darker side of himself. That's a fun movie. Cody and I actually did a podcast recording one time, or a series of, I should put those out sometime. We did reviews of movies, sort of. We called it Joe and Cody Watch Movies and Then Talk About It. And it was a lot of fun, and Groundhog Day was one of the ones that we did. I love that movie. There's more to it than just a simple comedy. In some ways, you could say it's a lot like A Christmas Carol with Ebenezer Scrooge, and totally different premise, but it's the same sort of thing, where this unkind guy becomes a good person. On Wednesday, I came across another video from David Hoffman. This one was about 1950s drivers. And I guess some insurance company, was it Aetna or some? I can't remember. Some insurance company back then had come up with these drivers training simulators, which it seemed like a jump ahead of its time in the 50s. These simulators that have rooms full of people in these drivers simulators that looked like a car with the steering wheel and all the gauges and everything. And they would get a lot of drivers training in these simulators. That didn't seem to stick, though, because by the time I was driving, I don't remember simulators, so I don't know when those stopped. Maybe my parents might remember those. Well, my parents would have started driving in 1966, because they were both born in 50. Of course, I'm assuming that driving age was 16 back in the 60s, but I don't know. On Thursday, I was talking with Ben about baseball. He's really excited that that's going to be starting up again here real soon. They have tryouts coming next Saturday. I guess a week from today, they'll have tryouts, which I guess their tryouts are kind of just a formality because they're not going to have to turn away players or something like that. I've been talking with my friend Eris, and he has been really excited about this new social app platform thing called Clubhouse. And Clubhouse, it's hard to explain. It's like, when you go to a conference and you've got these breakout sessions in these different rooms, it's like that, except you've got these breakout sessions that are happening online at the spur of the moment sometimes. Friday morning, I was in one that it just said that Mark Zuckerberg was talking live. Well, he wasn't on there anymore, but Barbara, I can't remember her last name, from Shark Tank, one of the sharks on Shark Tank, she was in the room and she was talking, and it was just really neat listening to her talk about Shark Tank and talk about Clubhouse and how cool it is and how excited she was to be able to get on there and talk with people, and what a neat environment it is that you have just average people, your average Joe like me, that can get in there and talk with with these people, or at the very least listen to them live in a somewhat private forum, just like going to a conference and having a keynote speaker there, except these types of things are going on quite often. On Friday, Jill actually got on YouTube and subscribed to my channel. My wife is now a subscriber of the channel. I'm always telling her about these things. She didn't really need to subscribe, but I just thought it was funny that I finally got my wife to subscribe. And that brings us up to today, Saturday. Today I have been working on cleaning up my office some, even more, just working on organizing some things, getting rid of a bunch of trash, and stuff that I don't use anymore, but I was hanging on to it thinking, well, I might use this someday. I'm like, well, why do I have all these old RCA cables? You younger people, you don't know what RCA cables even are, and you're lucky because it was really low quality video. So yeah, I've been doing a bunch of cleaning today, been thinking about the adventures of adulting and wanting to explore that more in this forum and to do some short type things talking about adulting and just, the stuff that needs to get done throughout the day, that finding ways to make it interesting. On Friday night, last night, Brian had a friend over, Alex. They had a good time. Brian hasn't had a lot going on lately. I realize I haven't talked about him much in the vlog here. He's just really been focusing on his studies. He is full-time from home right now. Distance learning, I guess they call it. He's enjoying that a lot. He hasn't had a lot of activities going on. It makes me think I probably need to spend some time chatting with him just to see where he's at, see if there's anything he needs. Well, that wraps up week 5 of 2021. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.